It leaked. The 36-gallon Bowfront by Topfin leaked. I was actually going to do a long-term review soon, but the tank didn't even make it that long. Well, this video is my long-term review, but spoiler, it is mostly negative. Hi, it's Connor. So it's been close to 2 years since I got the Topfin 36-gallon Bowfront Aquarium set. I made an initial review about 6 months into using the aquarium, but long-term, some things have changed. So today I want to go through my thoughts on the kit after 2 years of use. Now, first, as I said in the intro, I don't know if I jinxed myself. I was planning to film this video in a few weeks since it's been close to 2 years with the tank and set. Then a few days ago, I noticed water dripping off the stand. Water was all over it, and the stand was starting to buckle. I wiped the water away and it just started to come right back. So it's pretty obvious I had leaks, so I went into emergency mode and moved the fish out and drained the tank as quick as I could. Now the fish are all safe, and I'm planning to get a 40-gallon breeder as a replacement this weekend. The angelfish and yo-yo loaches were moved into the 65-gallon temporarily. You'll see here my two angelfish did not get along as I originally had to separate them. So one right now is sitting in a breeder net, and it'll just be for a couple days. And then the mollies and cories are in a 10-gallon that I had for quarantine purposes. Anyway, enough of story time, let's get into the review. Real quick, a summary of the first review I did is that I thought the lid and stand were cheap and that the lid was overall annoying. I did like the look of the set, and I thought the price was very good, especially if you got it on sale. Overall, though, I said I'd probably pass on this in the future unless you really like the Bowfront look. So getting on to talking about the aquarium and the whole kit almost 2 years after getting it. So the first most notable thing that I already mentioned, but we kind of have to get it out of the way, is that it did leak, and I didn't even have it for 2 years. I had it for about 1 year, 8 months, 1 year, 9 months, in that range, so close to 2 years. And then it did have a leak. Now I did move once, but this was about 6 months ago, so I don't think that had any effect on it, and I think we moved it safely and everything. The leak was from the bottom, and it was the bottom front left of the aquarium. And in my opinion, 2 years, less than 2 years really isn't that long for an aquarium. I would expect it would go at least 3 years, if not close to 5 years, before you really have any leaking problems or need to reseal it. As I said, I was close to making this review in a few weeks, and good thing I was going to say is that the tank is held up and I've had no problems with the tank itself. But unfortunately that didn't happen, so it's kind of funny how it happened in this time frame. And it is really unfortunate, as some of the comments I got on my first review was people asking about it leaking, because if you look through the reviews, especially look through now, there are a lot of people that reported it leaking. Some around my time frame, some less than my time frame, but there is a lot of negative reviews on that. Now, I could possibly reseal it, but I live in an apartment, so I don't really want to go through that risk, because if it leaks again and it's bad, thankfully this time it wasn't bad and I caught it in time, but it's not really worth it, so I might see if I can sell it cheap to someone who wants to reseal it. Now, besides it leaking, there were other comments I wanted to make on the whole set itself, and the set, just as a reminder, it is the tank and the stand together, and then the lid and the light, and that's everything it comes with. If you haven't seen my first review though, definitely check that out. I'll link it in the description down below. But there were a few notes that I want to add on to the first review. Some things have changed in my opinions. Now, I'll say, since it is mostly negative, we'll do one good thing, because there is one good thing here, and I did finally, and since I moved last in the last few months, tried it with a heavily planted tank using the original light in the kit. And now I did use CO2, so that definitely had an impact. But despite that, just using the original light it came with for about 7 hours a day, plus CO2, the plants did amazing. It was the best planted tank I've ever had in terms of plant growth. So the light it comes with definitely can support plants. I will say it actually might be too powerful, because I have had allergy problems in the past. Having CO2 balanced everything out, and the plants did great. I had almost no allergy. Now, going back to negatives, another really big negative, and I had mentioned this to a bunch of people that asked in the comments previously in my old video, was that the stand did not hold up. The stand I've been using since I moved for the past few months has actually been a different Topfin stand that's specifically meant for the Bowfront Aquarium. So the stand that the kit originally comes with, it's made with particle board. It is pretty lightweight stand. It's good for buying at the store and moving and bringing home. It's easy to move. One person can move it pretty easy. But the one thing is, it is pretty cheap. I did mention that in my first review that I felt like it was pretty cheap. Now, I had no problems with it in the first review, only 6 months of use, but about at the year mark, ended up warping really badly. Now, I wasn't using the lid on the tank, and I did have a very large Aranda in the tank, and she would splash water out. I would try to dry it whenever I saw it, but definitely a lot of water ended up splashing out onto the stand over time, and eventually the part right under the aquarium ended up warping very, very, very badly. It pretty much just kind of started expanding. I have a few pictures of mine and other people's, and it's actually what happened to my recent stand now with this leak, but basically just kept expanding, and I still used it for a few months after that. I basically tried to support it some more. I didn't have any failures or anything, but or actually completely breaking, but it was kind of sketchy that it did that. And so that's really just unfortunate that the stand really didn't even last a year for me. I think with normal use, because I had a larger goldfish, I think mine kind of went faster than other people's would. But if you use it with normal use and use it with the lid and dry it well whenever you see it, dry it every day, I think it would probably last 1.5 years, 2 years max, really. I really doubt that you'd get more than 2 years of use out of the stand, which is pretty unfortunate. The next thing, and it does relate to the stand a bit, is that the hood leaks. So the tank itself is, the top of it is kind of a rimless look, and then it has a plastic lid that kind of hooks on over top. And the problem with it is it gets condensation on the top, and the condensation leaks down the side. And now there's a few bad things about this. One, the water is going to dry up and it's going to leave hard water stains, so you have to clean it, every few days probably, to keep your tank looking very clean on the outside. It's a small thing, doesn't really matter. The really bad part is, because of all the negatives I said with the stand warping if it gets wet, is there's going to be water dripping down your tank every day. I've noticed it usually comes down the front at most, at least mine. Maybe that's just how it was sitting on it. But you're pretty much going to probably twice a day need to really be drying it off if you really want to keep the stand in check, which is pretty annoying. And even still, long term, I think it's going to still be a problem for the stand. And then on top of that, anytime you take the lid off, no matter which way you take it off, whichever way you're leaning it towards, water is going to drip off it because there's so much condensation sitting at the top, and it doesn't have like a brim where it's going to drop right in the aquarium. It's going to drop down the glass onto the stand, so you're going to have to be quick to dry it off. So I think that this design is a little annoying, but if the stand was made of wood or something that wasn't going to warp from water like particle board, I don't think it would really be as much of an issue, or at least it'd be a lot smaller of an issue. Maybe just a little annoyance, but because the stand really can't get wet, and over time if it gets wet a lot, it's going to buckle and you're going to have to get rid of it. The design of the lid is just a really bad design, and I don't really know what they were thinking. I'm surprised they actually still sell them like this. I would think they would kind of change it up a bit. And the last thing I want to say that really kind of makes the kit not worth it anymore is the price went up. Now, in the last year, probably almost all aquariums, the price went up. But for this one, it's kind of really unfortunate, because the one thing this kit had going for it is if you got it on sale for a stand and a tank that size and coming with the light and everything, it was a pretty good deal. I got mine for $180. I know people have told me for Black Friday and other holidays and stacking with coupons, sometimes people got it for as cheap as $100. Actually, it's like a crazy good price for it. Mine was $180. The original price was $250. But now the sale price is $220 and the full price is $300, which is a good, decent bump up. And it really makes it not worth it, in my opinion. Now, knowing all the negatives I know about it and others' bad experiences with it as well, I really don't think that the price should have increased, and I really don't think it's worth it. Yeah, there is the argument that probably all tanks have gone up in the last year. So maybe it is proportionate, but I really just don't think for the quality you're getting, it's worth that price and by any means. Now, you probably know my opinion on this, but I just want to touch on, before we end the video, what I recommend this. And what I did say in my first review on it, 6 months into using the kit, is I said I probably wouldn't recommend it. There was enough negatives then to where, it was a good deal, a good price, but it wasn't, there's enough negatives to where I would probably pass on this in the future. I wouldn't go out and get another one. And if a friend asked me, I would probably say, nah, try something else. Try like a 40-gallon breeder and just getting a normal stand for that, and it'll probably be around the same price, and you won't have to deal with some of the annoyances of the kit. Now today, after having more problems over the last 1.5 years, the stand failing and buckling, now the leak especially, and just seeing how bad design the lid is, especially with the stand problems, I would definitely not recommend it. But anyway, that does wrap up my long-term review. Once again, if you haven't seen the first video and you want to see my initial thoughts 6 months after using it, I go into more details on a lot of different smaller components, what's in the stand and such, than feel free to check that out. I'll link in the description. And if you have this kit or you have more questions about it, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear other experiences of using the kit as well. You have it now, I've had it in the past. And if you do have it right now, hopefully you have better luck than me. And just try to keep the stand dry, and hopefully it doesn't leak on you like it did for me. But anyway, thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, a like on the video and a subscription to my channel, it's very appreciated. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch everyone next time.